Good evening, friends. Thanks for your valuable comments on my videos and all your comments on Twitter, Koo, and Twitter. I do make sure I read all of them and post some of them on social media. And please continue to do so because it gives me a lot of strength. The latest news in SSR case is that CBI will take over Rhea Chakravarti's FIR against Priyanka Singh. Apart from the abetment to suicide case against Rhea Chakravarti and others, the CBI will also be investigating the actor's complaint against Sushant Singh Rajput's sister, Priyanka Singh, involving the usage of banned drugs without prescription. The Supreme Court on Friday rejected the petition filed by Sushant Singh Rajput's sister, Priyanka Singh, against the FIR lodged in her name on Rhea Chakravarti's complaint. The decision was made on the basis of the previous ruling by the Supreme Court, mentioning that all the FIRs related to Sushant Singh Rajput's death case will be handled by the CBI. This means that Riya's complaint against Priyanka, in which she accused her of giving unprescribed drugs to SSR, will be investigated by the CBI, which is already probing the abetment to suicide case against Rhea and others named in the FIR registered by SSR's father in Patna last year. The CBI, which is already investigating the abetment to suicide case registered by Sushant's father, will be taking over Rhea's complaint against the late actor's sister as well. The CBI is now bound to handle all the FIRs related to the SSR death case. While the agency was aware of the ruling, it was waiting for the Supreme Court's decision on Friday to take over the FIR against Priyanka Singh. SC's ruling came after the Bombay High Court ruling in which it said on February 15th that the investigation against Priyanka Singh will continue because there is prima facie case found against her and there should not be any impediment against investigation against her. Earlier, the Supreme Court dismissed another petition filed by Sushant's sister Mithu Singh against Rhea after the latter accused the sisters of forgery and violation of the NDPS, which is the Narcotics, Drug and Psychotropic Substances Act. So what was the case, Rhea's case against Sushant's sisters? In August last year, Rhea Chakravarti registered a complaint with the Mumbai police against Priyanka Singh, who lived with Sushant Singh Rajput for some days. The complaint was based on WhatsApp conversations dated June 8, 2020, in which Priyanka had allegedly prescribed 3 medicines, Librium, Mexito, and Lonazepam, without any formal prescription from the doctor. All the medicines are usually prescribed for depression and anxiety. However, these medicines are banned under the NDPS Act, and none of them can be bought without a formal prescription. Rhea also mentioned in her complaint that as opposed to the SSR family's claim that they weren't aware of his mental condition, Sister Priyanka was aware that, and that's why she allegedly fabricated the prescription on WhatsApp for her brother. This is all Rhea's version. What did Priyanka Singh tell the court about the FIR against her by Rhea Chakravarti? Priyanka Singh's lawyer argued in the SC on Friday that there was no evidence that SSR had taken the medicine as mentioned in Rhea's complaint. The lawyer also claimed that the doctor whom Priyanka consulted was qualified to prescribe drugs through consultation over the phone. In the Sachin Vaze gate, a bar manager raided by Sachin Vaze on the night of Mansukh Hiren's death now speaks out. As NIA continues to probe into ex-Mumbai API Sachin Vaze's alleged connection to Mansukh Hiren's murder, Rajendra, the manager of a bar which was raided by Vaze and his team on the night of the alleged murder, recounted his experience on Thursday. He said that Vaze was accompanied by a team of 20 people who came and checked his establishment. Vaze had been sent to NIA custody till April 3rd in connection with the Antalya bomb scare case by a special NIA court. The ex-cop has maintained that he was being made a scapegoat. The bar manager said 20 people came to do checking on 4th March at 11:30 p.m. They checked inside found nothing, did not ask questions. They asked for my papers and checked it. They were in civil dress and had masks. They came in 5 to 6 cars. One police sumo car was there and others were private cars, he said. As you remember, on February 25th at around 3 p.m., a car, a green Scorpio, laden with explosive gelatin sticks, along with a threatening letter, was found by Mumbai police outside the Ambani residence Antilia. A primary investigation from the CCTV revealed that the car had been parked near the residence since 1 a.m., intervening night on between Wednesday and Thursday. Later on, March 5th, Mansakiran, the owner of the car in question, was found dead at the Kalwa Creek, with police claiming that he committed suicide by jumping into the stream. With the deceased wife alleging murder, autopsy results showed several abrasions on Hiren's face and a cloth stuffed into his mouth, leading to an investigation by Maharashtra ATS. Mumbai CM Paramveer Singh has been transferred from Home Guards due to lapses in the probe. Meanwhile, Maharashtra government goes after IPS officer Rashmi Shukla, who tried to investigate the transfer racket in 2020. In August 2020, Rashmi Shukla, commissioner at the State Intelligence Department, had written a letter to Subodh Kumar Jaiswal, Director General of Police, informing him of the alleged transfer racket. As the Mahavikas Aghadi government in Maharashtra reels from what seems like an existential crisis, it appears to have marshaled all the resources at its disposal to extricate itself from the mess it has found itself in following the Antilia bomb scare incident. Recently, Devendra Fadnavis made a startling revelation that Uddhav Thackeray ignored a report on the transfer posting racket in the state police. Now the Maharashtra government has placed more focus on punishing the whistleblower who may have provided data to the former chief minister than disapproving his allegations. To this end, Sitaram Kunte, the chief secretary of the Maharashtra government, recently submitted a report recommending strict action against senior IPS officer Rashmi Shukla for tapping the phones of politicians illegally. However, his report makes no mention of punitive action to be taken against the corrupt officials and minister for offering millions of rupees in lieu of transfer prime postings. Chief Secretary of Maharashtra claims IPS police officer Rashmi Shukla may have leaked data to Devendra Fadnavis. In his report that was released on Thursday, Chief Secretary Sitaram Kunte claimed that the former Additional Director General of Police, Rashmi Shukla, may have leaked her confidential letter on the alleged corruption in transfers in the police department to leader of the opposition, Devendra Fadnavis. Kunte cited Shukla's letter dated August 25, 2020, to the then Maharashtra DGP Subodh Jaiswal, which was released in the public domain by Fadnavis 2 days ago. In August 2020, Rashmi Shukla, commissioner at the State Intelligence Department, had written a letter to Subodh Kumar Jaiswal, Director General of Police, informing him of the alleged transfer racket. The letter, dated 25th August 2020, states, upon the receipt of numerous complaints alleging that a network of brokers had emerged, particular individuals with firmly ingrained political connections are engaged in arranging desired postings for police officers in exchange for massive monetary compensation. In order to authenticate these charges, the phone numbers of the individuals allegedly involved in this dubious activity were placed under telephonic surveillance with due regard to the established process. The reason for surveillance was to curtail the commitment of criminal offences and prevent the possible breach of trust. Consequently, upon review of the gathered data, it is clear that there is significant merit in all these allegations, it adds. Rashmi Shukla states further, it has been discovered that the aforementioned brokers are in close contact and embroiled in these negotiations with several influential people. The police officers ranging from inspectors to several high-ranking IPS officers are in contact with such undesirable individuals. She also emphasized that the matter should be brought before the attention of CM Uddhav Thackeray, as it would severely undermine the credibility of the ruling dispensation. A day later, DHP Jaiswal acknowledges the receipt of the letter. He too recommended that the matter be brought before Uddhav Thackeray and a comprehensive inquiry taken into the allegations. Devendra Fadnavis makes explosive revelations, claims Uddhav Thackeray overlooked police transfer posting racket in state. He said the chief minister did not take any action through the General Administration Department, though it comes under him. The report has been with the government since August 2020, but to date, no action has been taken on it. Seems like he shielded and protected this entire racket to save his government. In a statement, Fadnavis said that he has a copy of the report along with the 6.3 GB of data that includes call recordings and documents. He added that the data would be shared with the Union Home Secretary for his investigation by CBI, which he has already done. In news that will please many people who wanted justice for the death of an innocent girl, Nikita Tomar. 5 months after the 20-year-old Nikita Tomar was shot dead in broad daylight, a Faridabad court on Friday handed life imprisonment to both convicts, Taushif and Rehan. The duo was held responsible under IPC sections 302, 366, 506, 120B, and 34. The court has also awarded a compensation of Rs 20,000 to Nikita Tomar's family, which is to be collected from the convicts. The fast-track court convicted 2 persons identified as Taushif and Rehan, whereas the third accused, identified as Azruddin, who allegedly supplied the murder weapon, has been acquitted. Delighted by the conviction of the accused on Wednesday, the counsel representing the victim's family has said, "We will demand the death penalty. It depends on the court now what judgment they will pass." Just to recall the case, on October 26, Monday, the 21-year-old Nikita Tomar was shot dead outside her college in Haryana's Balabghar in an incident that was caught on camera. The incident took place when the victim walked out of her college after appearing for an exam. The accused allegedly tried to abduct her in his vehicle and shot her when she tried to resist. Tomar was rushed to the hospital. However, she eventually succumbed to her injuries. The 2 accused were arrested based on CCTV footage. Following the arrest, accused Taushif has allegedly told the police that he shot Nikita because she was about to get married to someone else. The accused had also claimed that his career was ruined because of a case filed by Nikita's family in 2018. A SIT team, a special investigation team, had then taken over the probe and investigated a possible love jihad angle in the case, with reports claiming that Taushif had been forcing the victim to marry him and convert her religion to his. Meanwhile, in the Mumbai fire case, CM Uddhav Thackeray visits Dreams Mall and apologizes to the families of the deceased. Condoling the loss of lives, CM Thackeray said action will be taken against those who are found responsible. Compensation will be given to the families of the deceased. Most of the patients who have died were on ventilator. I offer my condolences and seek apologies from the affected families. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to Twitter and expressed grief over the incident. Taking to Twitter, the Prime Minister said he was pained by the loss of lives due to the fire at a hospital in Mumbai. I pray that the injured recover soon. At least 10 people were killed after a massive fire broke out at Bandup's Dream Mall in Mumbai on the intervening night of Thursday and Friday. Officials have said that the patients have been evacuated as the smoke spread into the Sunrise Hospital, a COVID-19 hospital on the 3rd floor of Dreams Mall. Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar said in the morning that at least 70 patients, including those infected with COVID-19, have been shifted to another hospital. This is the first time I have seen a hospital in a mall. This is a very serious situation. 7 patients were on ventilators. 70 patients have been taken to another hospital. There will be an investigation to ascertain the case and the cause of the fire, he added. Whoever is responsible for this fire accident will take strict action against them, said the Mumbai Commissioner, Hemant Nagrale. In another case that should make most of us happy is that the mafia don Mukhtar Ansari. The Supreme Court has ordered the transfer of this mafia don, Mukhtar Ansari, from Punjab jail to Uttar Pradesh. In October last year, the Punjab government had put Mukhtar Ansari on bed rest for 3 months, citing health issues. when a team of UP police had visited Punjab to bring back the gangster. Putting an end to the long-drawn tussle between the UP and the Punjab government, the Supreme Court on Friday ordered the transfer of the mafia don turned politician Mukhtar Ansari to jail in UP. The BSP MLA is currently lodged in a Punjab jail. The apex court asked the Punjab government to make the arrangements within 2 weeks and ensure he faces further trials in Uttar Pradesh. According to reports, the notorious gangster and former Bahujan Samaj Party leader Mukhtar Ansari will be shifted from Roopnagar jail in Punjab to UP's Banda jail in the coming 2 weeks. The order has come after the UP government, led by Yogi Adityanath, moved the Supreme Court, requesting the latter to direct the Punjab government and the Roopnagar jail authority to immediately hand over the custody of Ansari to them. It had all sought a direction to transfer the criminal proceedings and trial in the extortion case in Punjab to the special court in Allahabad. The Punjab government has been trying very hard to prevent Ansari's transfer to UP jail. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, appearing for the UP government, said that the respondent, Ansari, had flouted the law when in jail and outside the jail. He's facing more than 50 FIRs. Look at his apprehensions. I'm answerable and I have a responsibility in the society, Mehta added. Mukhtar Ansari successfully evading the UP police under the custodianship of the Congress-led government in Punjab. Interestingly, in October last year, the Punjab government had put Mukhtar Ansari on bed rest for 3 months when a team of UP police had visited Punjab to bring back this gangster. This was the 4th time when UP police had returned empty-handed. Thrice prior to this incident, Mukhtar Ansari managed to evade the UP police with the help of the Punjab authorities. This gangster turned politician has been in Punjab jail since January 2019. Ansari reportedly got himself shifted to Punjab jail, fearing threat to his life in UP jails. 2014, Ansari had backed Congress candidate against Modi in Varanasi. Yogi Adityanath government's crackdown on Mukhtar Ansari's illegal empire is happening, and we are really glad that these things are happening and we can get rid of such people. While Mukhtar Ansari was successfully evading the UP police under the custodianship of the Congress-led government in Punjab, back in UP, the BJP government led by Yogi Adityanath continued to crack the whip on the economic empire and armory of the jail don. Meanwhile, in news related to Ratan Tata, on Friday, the Supreme Court of India set aside the order passed by the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, NCLAT, which reinstated businessman Cyrus Mistry as the chairman of Tata Sons Limited. The court order effectively upheld the decision of the Tata. Ratan Tata wrote, "After relentless attacks on my integrity and the ethical conduct of the group, the judgment upholding all the appeals of Tata Sons is a validation of the values and ethics that have been the guiding principles of the group." Ratan Tata wrote, hailing the Supreme Court order. Meanwhile, India's Technology Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad spoke about OTT platforms. He said, "Video streaming services have to be responsible and accountable for their shows and movies, defending rules and introduced last month that regulate such content. India tightened its grip on social media firms such as Facebook and Twitter. The rules called the Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code also requires firms such as Netflix and Amazon's Prime Video to classify content into categories based on viewers' age. The rules come at a time where digital media or over-the-top OTT platforms such as Amazon Prime Video and Netflix face growing complaints in India about obscene content or hurting religious sentiments. OTT delivers content to viewers directly by the internet. Among the highest profile such cases, police last month questioned a top Amazon Prime Video executive for hours over a show that allegedly hurt religious beliefs. Amazon was also forced to issue an apology. On Thursday, Indian Technology Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said if the companies had the right to create content, others had the right to have a grievance. India's new rules mandate tech companies, including video streaming giants, to set up a grievance redressal mechanism and appoint new executives to coordinate with law enforcement. The three-tier grievance resolution system begins with self-regulation by the content platform and ends at the government-appointed panel headed by a ministry official. India is tolerant and will remain tolerant, he said, but the limits of tolerance and standards of tolerance should not be judged on creating freedom or abuse of a particular producer of an OTT platform. Meanwhile, looks like the superstar and his wife have plenty of time for themselves now. As per Shah Rukh Khan's request to revamp the office, Gauri Khan set out to design a new lounge area within the office of production house Red Chillies Entertainment by setting up a space that was fresh, welcoming and versatile, especially in the post-COVID era. She said, Shah Rukh has for some time now wanted to revamp one section of the office into something more creative than just desks and people. But since hundreds of people moved in and out every day, it was hard to put a stop to things in the daily churn of life and take time off to renovate. But the pandemic changed things last year. It was the perfect time to take a break to refurbish this floor, Gauri Khan told Vogue India in an interview. It's also time to understand that Bollywood is being boycotted and these actors are actually now sitting and catching flies. In a strange twist, friends, the gang raped and murdered Disha Salia was mentioned in the film Ruhi credits. The new film starring Rajkumar Rao, Varun Sharma and Janvi Kapoor. Well, why did these actors and directors and producers not raise their voice for justice for Disha and SSR? But they wanted to mention her name. For what? Such a double-faced industry that uses and throws people like they are trash. Thank you, friends, for joining me, and see you again tomorrow. Good night.